Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Since Day One. Before we get into this video today about Aaliyah as well as Jay-Z, and today we also have in attendance Beyonce as well as her late maternal grandmother Agnes, and last but not least we have her mom Tina Knowles, as well as Beyonce's former girl group Destiny's Child. And before we get into this video today, you guys go ahead and like the video, comment down below, and if you are new, smash that subscribe button to take flight with us.
Fake love, I don't need it, you can keep it as a fake. I had to make up my mind. I took that weight on my shoulders. I done been down.
Before we get into this video, let me just say, if your eyes are wide shut, this might not be the video for you. I'm not here to lie, to kick it, or to sugarcoat. I'm here to make it make sense. These are theories, speculations, and fair use of the information available to us. If you're ready to take a deeper dive into some of the industry's best kept secrets, grab a seat. Let's talk about Aaliyah, Jay-Z, and Beyonce, and the mysterious connections that may have shaped their legacies. And trust me, this isn't just about worshiping false idols. I only worship one God, Jesus Christ. Let's get into it. Today we're diving into a theory that's sure to stir up some conversation and some controversy in the world of R&B and pop. It's a theory about two of the most iconic women in music history, Beyonce and Aaliyah, and the possible hidden truth behind their rivalry and rise to fame. What if there's more to their stories that we've been told? Let's start with a theory that's never been fully explored. What if Beyonce, the icon we know today, is actually 5 years older than what she's publicly claimed? What if she was born in 1974 instead of 1981, making her the elder by 5 years over Aaliyah? Now, before you dismiss this, hear me out, because this theory, when considered within the broader context of their career trajectories, might actually make a lot of sense. I wanted to take a moment to address some compelling footage that Beyonce released to the public a few years ago during one of her concert tours. However, I also would like to add this small disclaimer that I just spoke about this in my video yesterday about Gabrielle Union dropping a bombshell on Beyonce as far as this video showing Beyonce alongside her grandmother Agnes. And because I'm not really into Beyonce like that, I wasn't aware that that was actually Tina, and my bad for getting the information misconstrued, but I'm coming back to clear up my misinformation that was not Beyonce's grandmother Agnes. It was her mother Tina standing beside her. However, her sister Solange was instructed to say hi grandma from her grandfather, who was also going to be watching Solange while Tina and Beyonce went to go attend this Jackson 5 concert. And so I wasn't able, unfortunately, to edit the video once I found out this information, so I had to come and include it in the next part. So with that being said, you guys, my point still stood, because what I was trying to explain in the video is exactly what I'm going to be explaining here today. That Beyonce was not born in 1981 because her grandmother Agnes, who was holding the camera and recording Tina and Beyonce on their way to a Jackson 5 concert. I'm correcting myself for the last time. It was her father Matthew recording to send to her grandmother. The grandmother was not there. They were sending the footage to the grandma. A Jackson 5 concert, passed away in 1980. So although, yes, Beyonce was not standing with her grandmother Agnes, and the woman that I believed was Agnes was indeed Beyonce's mom Tina. However, the grandmother was still holding the camera, although she was not in the frame.
Say hi, Grandma. Say hi, Grandma. Say hi, Grandma. Say hi, Grandma.
And that still goes to show that with the fans and the supporters who were concerned about Beyonce lying about her age and where the disconnect was for them, because a lot of people tried to squash the rumors that Beyonce was lying about her age when she showcased this video, and fans put two and two together and realized, hey, the same grandmother that's recording her mother Tina and Beyonce going to this Jackson 5 concert passed away in 1980. Beyonce was born in 1981. So this is not technically my theory. This is something that people have been saying for a very long time. But seeing as I'm not a stan of Beyonce and I don't really care for her as much as her truest fans do, then the age discrepancy with me is more so about cracking the case open. And this feeling as if it is a thread that I can pull on to possibly unravel all of the other lies that have been constructed as far as the image that Beyonce wants to portray to the public. And back in 2019 and 2020, when I was covering Surviving R. Kelly, I questioned everybody. I didn't just look at R. Kelly, because sometimes it's not just the artist, but the people around them who are enabling them. The Jackson 5 concert was an iconic event in music history, but here's where things get a little murky. So moving forward, now that we have established that Beyonce was not standing next to her grandmother Agnes, but was standing next to her mother Tina, and her grandmother Agnes, who tragically passed away in 1980, is seen recording the family as they prepare to attend the concert. But here's where the timeline doesn't add up. If you look closely at the video, Beyonce is clearly at least 4 to 6 years old at the time that it was filmed. This means the footage was likely taken around 1979 or 1980, which would make sense given the context of the Jackson 5 concert. But here's the problem. If Beyonce was indeed born in 1981, as she has claimed in public records, then there's no way that she could have been that age in this video. Because if Agnes was holding the camera recording Beyonce and her mom Tina, and Mrs. Agnes passed away in July of 1980, and Beyonce was allegedly born in September of 1981, there would be no way that Beyonce would even be alive when her grandmother was alive in 1979 or 1980. And I'm gonna keep saying it until y'all get it, because I didn't get it at first, but when I thought about it, I was like, oh, you so right. So this footage presents a huge contradiction to the narrative Beyonce has presented about her birth year. If we follow the logic, it would mean that Beyonce could have been born in 1974 and not 1981, because if she was about 4 to 6 years old in 1979 or 1980, then she would have had to have been born in the mid 1970s to align with this timeline. Now, it's important to note that Beyonce's grandmother Agnes passed away in 1980, and this video showing a much younger Beyonce with her point to an era that fits better with the 1974 birth year than the 1981 birth year.
Say hi, Grandma. Say hi, Grandma. Say hi, Grandma.
And y'all have to remember that we listen and we don't judge, and I will gladly hold y'all's hand through this. Grab my hand and come on. So why would Beyonce attempt to manipulate the public into believing the video was altered or fake after she was the one who showcased it at her concert and she was the one who shared the video with us initially? The answer could lie in her need to maintain the narrative that supports her public image. If people knew that she was older than she claimed, it could raise questions about her career trajectory and her rise in the music industry and her status in comparison to other artists such as Aaliyah. And y'all, I just want to apologize about my voice. I just don't know what's going on today. Like, I just feel like my mouth has so much I'm so sorry. I don't know, y'all. The tea just be so juicy to me. My mouth be salivating. But yeah, if the people knew that Beyonce was older than she claimed, that it could raise questions about her career trajectory and her rise in the music industry and her status in comparison to other artists like Aaliyah. It's plausible to theorize that Beyonce and her team saw Aaliyah as a direct competitor. Aaliyah's music was sophisticated, her image was flawless, and she had the backing of major industry players. Beyonce, on the other hand, was navigating group dynamics and the pressure to stand out. The need to differentiate herself could have driven decisions like adjusting her age to appear as the fresher, younger talent, thereby appealing to Aaliyah's audience. By presenting a public persona of being younger than she is, Beyonce has been able to position herself as a part of a new generation of artists. But if she was born in 1974, as the video suggests, then she would have been competing directly with Aaliyah, who was seen as the princess of R&B in the late 90s. It's interesting to think about how a 5 or 6 year age difference could have affected their rivalry, especially when we factor in the industry's tendency to push younger artists to the forefront. Aaliyah's tragic passing in 2001 opened a significant space in the R&B world that Beyonce quickly seized. But if they were indeed closer in age, it would add a whole new layer of complexity to their relationship and competition. So this footage with Beyonce and her mother Tina with her grandmother Agnes recording is isn't just a nostalgic moment for Beyonce and her family. It's evidence that challenges the narrative she has tried to set about her age, and it makes us question why she would go to such lengths to alter the public's perception of when she was born. The truth, as we're seeing, might be much more complicated than we've been led to believe. And in this case, it's not just about age, it's about how an artist's image is carefully constructed to protect a legacy. Aaliyah's rise to fame was not just luck, it was strategic. From a young age, Aaliyah had key industry connections that many artists could only dream of. She was introduced to the industry by her uncle Barry Hankerson, who had ties to major players like R. Kelly. Aaliyah was only 12 when she started working on her debut album with R. Kelly, and that album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, became a huge success. She was an undeniable force in the music industry, beautiful, talented, and heavily mentored by Gladys Knight, who helped hone her stage presence. Aaliyah was labeled the Princess of R&B at a time when that title meant everything in terms of success and marketability. With the mentorship of Gladys Knight, her aunt by marriage, Aaliyah had a polished stage presence even as a teenager. Her debut album wasn't just a hit, it solidified her as the Princess of R&B, backed by industry giants and blessed with unique style and talent. Aaliyah's rise seemed almost destined. To understand this theory more, we need to take a step back into the 1990s, a time when Aaliyah was dominating the R&B scene. Aaliyah's debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, dropped in 1994, and it instantly set the stage for her rise to stardom. Now, Aaliyah has some serious industry backing. Her uncle Barry Hankerson was a key figure in her career, having introduced her to influential R. Kelly, and their collaboration was groundbreaking. With R. Kelly writing and producing most of her debut album, Aaliyah was not just another teen sensation. She was destined for greatness with the right people behind her. But here's the thing, being labeled the Princess of R&B meant she was the girl to beat. This title likely put her in silent competition with other rising stars, including Beyonce, who was emerging as the front woman of Destiny's Child. So why would Beyonce, who was already in her late 20s, lie about her age and claim to be younger? Simple. Perception. Aaliyah was the youngest star with the most media attention. If Beyonce appeared older, it would have created a natural disadvantage. To compete with Aaliyah's youthfulness, Beyonce had to appear as fresh-faced and youthful as possible. Why would someone lie about their age? Well, think about it. Aaliyah was dominating the charts as a teenager, and younger artists often appear more to a youthful audience. By appearing younger, Beyonce could strategically position herself to compete with Aaliyah for that audience, and ultimately the title of the biggest name in R&B. Beyonce's parents, Tina and Matthew Knowles, were instrumental in crafting her career. They meticulously shaped her image as youthful, relatable, and approachable while working hard behind the scenes to ensure she rose to the top. I really feel like Beyonce's age was a lie that was started allegedly from her parents because they had the most to gain from their daughter Beyonce becoming a global icon. However, Beyonce lived up to their lie. While doing my research about Tina and Matthew Knowles, and I first discovered that Beyonce could allegedly have been lying about her age from Media Takeout finding a Texas Vital and Statistic piece of paper that basically stated that Beyonce was born in 1974 and also that her mother and her father were not married when Beyonce was born when Tina was age 20. And I feel like that's another reason that they possibly lied about when she was born to make it appear that they were married when she was born. However, on this paperwork that Media Takeout was able to find, it clearly shows that they weren't married. And Tina has went on to try to control this narrative and make us all think that she gave birth to Beyonce in 1981 when she was 27 years old. But just imagine for a moment that Beyonce was already in her late 20s competing against a 19-year-old Aaliyah. How much pressure would that put on her to surpass someone who was already crowned the Princess of R&B at such a young age? We can start to understand how a hypothetical 5-year age gap could be a game changer. By being positioned as the younger, fresher artist, Beyonce could maintain the illusion of youth, which was essential for her career trajectory. Think about it. Aaliyah's debut album was met with massive success in the mid-90s, and with that, she quickly became an R&B sensation. Meanwhile, Beyonce and Destiny's Child were still trying to find their footing in a heavily competitive environment. If Beyonce had been in her late 20s when Aaliyah was just entering her prime, wouldn't it make sense for Beyonce to want to bypass Aaliyah and solidify herself as the industry's most marketable star? The music industry thrives on positioning, and Beyonce had to be strategic. But here's where things get even more complicated. Jay-Z.
I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know it ain't where I've been, but where I'm about to go.
Jay-Z's rumor involvement with Aaliyah was one of the hottest topics of the late 90s. Sources claim that Jay-Z had romantic feelings for Aaliyah, but she turned him down in favor of dating Dame Dash. Some believe that Jay-Z's rejection played a significant role in how Aaliyah's career trajectory evolved. Was there any animosity? Did Jay-Z feel slighted? And how does this tie into her untimely death? There's no secret that Jay-Z and Aaliyah were rumored to have had a romantic connection before Aaliyah began dating Dame Dash. But here's where it gets messy. Allegedly, Jay-Z had strong feelings for Aaliyah, and some people believe those feelings played a role in shaping not only his future moves, but also Aaliyah's tragic demise. Fans have speculated that Jay-Z and his team wanted to use Aaliyah's star power to boost the Best of Both Worlds tour, a collaboration between Jay-Z and R. Kelly. However, Aaliyah rejected the idea of being romantically linked to Jay-Z, especially after her controversy with R. Kelly. Some theories go as far as suggesting that Aaliyah's rejection of Jay-Z's advances led to tension behind the scenes. Was Jay-Z's camp upset that Aaliyah wouldn't play along with their narrative? And how does that tie into the theories surrounding her tragic plane crash? These are questions worth exploring. Many believe that Aaliyah's tragic plane crash in 2001, which ended her promising career, was somehow connected to forces within the industry. And we can't ignore the possibility that Jay-Z, after years of alleged tension with Aaliyah, may have had a hand in orchestrating events that led to Aaliyah's demise.
I wasn't there, I ain't have nothing to do with that. I wasn't there, I ain't have nothing to do with that. They made a song together called Not Guilty. Anybody that knows what happened to my girl that me should not be home.
After her death, Jay-Z quickly moved on to his relationship with Beyonce, and it wasn't long before he started collaborating with R. Kelly, the very man who had worked with Aaliyah in her early years. The timing of all of these events makes it impossible not to wonder, was Beyonce's rise directly tied to Aaliyah's fall? Let's take this a step further. What if Aaliyah's untimely passing wasn't just a tragic loss of life, but a catalyst that paved the way for Beyonce to take over the industry? In the wake of Aaliyah's death, Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship became the industry's most powerful. Beyonce, now positioned as the leading female in R&B and pop, took over Aaliyah's crown, both figuratively and literally. Aaliyah's untimely passing in 2001 remains one of the most devastating losses in music history.